All right. Those that are coming in love and light, high vibes, positivity, greetings, welcome. Thank you for stopping by here on TikTok Live. For those of you who are legit, for those, no, I'm already being bad. Y'all know what I'm saying. Good folks, right? Salt of the earth. Decent-hearted beings, not fakers. Decent-hearted beings, to you all, are welcome. I thank you for stopping by. The title says, cute sayings ain't cute if ... Cute sayings ain't cute if ... So, disclaimer, trigger warning. Disclaimer, I'm going to use some of world-renowned, known sayings, okay, that we have all become familiar with, okay? Now, for the purposes of this particular live, this is going to be dealing with one phrase that is a cute saying, and it's only cute. It's only cute if ... And here we go. Cute saying. Favor ain't fair. For those of us that are from a traditional or religious background, we are familiar with what's implied by that statement. Favor ain't fair. Usually, you're going to hear people making those statements when they're on, in the world of tarot, like what we would call it, on top of the wheel of fortune. When they're on top of the wheel and the wheel is in their favor. So then, the statements are, boom, bitch, you know what I'm saying? Favor ain't fair. Favor ain't fair. You got to be in that arena to know where that's coming from. If you really were not tied in that arena, then you're probably like, huh? Okay, but it's very common. Favor ain't fair. So it's an implication that because one is special and they adhere to something, they're associated with a belief, a group of whatever, that they're getting some type of preferential treatment. Okay, right? That's the implication, that they're getting some type of preferential treatment, whether they're deserving of or not, and everybody might as well suck it because favor ain't everybody else. It's like everybody else might as well suck it. Favor ain't fair. Favor ain't fair, right? Now, here's where it's going to get interesting. When they come off of the wheel, when they come down the wheel, when they're no longer on top of the wheel of fortune, when it is no longer in their favor, you know what statements you're going to hear now? For those that are closest to them, this ain't fair. Oh, this ain't fair. When things start going the other way, right? The same ones that was, walking around like peacocks, strutting like peacocks, right? Saying, favor ain't fair. Boom, favor ain't fair. I'm chosen. I'm special. I'm a shitty person, but because I am associated with woo-de-woo, I get this preferential treatment. Favor ain't fair. Favor ain't fair, you heard? 6 months go by. A year goes by. Another year goes by. And it seems to these same people, all of a sudden, things are getting real sour. Once upon a time, it seemed like things just kind of fit. It kind of just flowed. It seemed cinchy. It seemed like everything was falling into place with least resistance. It seems like the money was rolling. right? The opportunities, the praise and worship, because that's essentially what this motherfucker is. The adorations, all of that was flowing. And it stopped. Just stopped. It seemed like all of a sudden the money started dwindling. Illnesses started kicking and coming in out of the woodworks. Supporters started to not be supporters. Looks began to fade seemingly overnight. Now, cute sayings aren't cute anymore. Now, those same people are saying, this isn't fair. Do you all see the double standard yet, or the hypocrisy? This isn't fair. When things were in their favor, the statement is, favor ain't fair. I get preferential treatment whether or not I deserve it or not. But when chances are, start to, in some cases, get what I deserve, or life. And it's not going my way anymore. Somebody says everything was very stagnant and we let go. Right? Y'all hear where I'm going though? I like to share like common cliche cute sayings, and I use it. For me, it's all about provoking thought. But take everything with a grain of salt, of course. Balance, wisdom, right? Some things, it's just life, yada yada. But I'm putting it out there, provoking, because we say a lot of shit culturally. And it sounds cute, and it can trend real quick on social media. You get you 1 million hits, bitch. Hell, all you got to do is dance, and let me get off of that anyway. Let me get out of there. We say this stuff, and we walk around like peacocks. When we're on top of the wheel, though, it's when we're on top of the wheel. Somebody says real talk. When we're on top of the wheel, and favor ain't fair. You know what I'm saying? I'm special. I'm chosen. I'm whatever we do to fluff up ourselves, shit, bitch. Whether we did any kind of soul work or not, bitch. Shoot, favor ain't fair. You know what I'm saying? Don't be mad. Don't be mad. Whoa. Don't hate. Favor ain't fair. You know what I'm saying? It's laid up. The wealth. We be calling all kind of dumb shit. Ooh, let me get out of there. We stole this shit, okay? But then want to quote something, the wealth of the wicked. Well, you stole it. When laid up, it was stolen. How about that? The insanity. The things we'll do and say to appease ourselves and to soothe our conscience and to suit our fancy. But when we're on the bottom of that wheel, we ain't saying none of that no more. Now we're talking about, why is this happening? This ain't fair. This ain't right. I don't deserve. Blind justice. I am provoking. It's not a flex. All that stuff ain't cute. Especially if you're a shitty person. To the people, maybe the hardworking or the beautiful souls and whoop-de-whoop. Maybe they don't get so-and-so or something because they're not an ass kisser, maybe. Is that perhaps the real reason? They're not willing to sell their soul. Is that the real reason? They ain't willing to be a performing monkey. That their benefit, they didn't get a benefit. Huh? Cute sayings ain't cute when you're on the bottom of that wheel. But which is it going to be? See, I'm saying all this to expose all of it, just exposing all of it. Our own biases. Because I can guarantee you that each and every one of us, at some point when we're sitting on the lower end of the wheel, we got something to say about it, don't we? When we're on top, grinning like we're in a Christmas parade. Favor ain't fair. So did that favor go away when the person got at the bottom of the wheel? Then there's the explanation. Then this is when we go into all of our other forms of reason. Now it's just life. Now it's happenstance. Now it's all these other things. It cannot possibly be due to any of our own previous actions whatsoever. As it pertains to other people, when other people are at the bottom of the wheel, they deserve it. They deserve it. You know what I'm saying? Whoop. That's because, you know what I'm saying? That's because they ain't nobody. You know, I'm somebody. You heard? You see how it switched and flipped just like that? I'm provoking thought for us to see our own nose blindness and biases and bullshit. We be saying shit like that. Some people be saying shit like that. Let me rephrase that. Some folks be saying shit like that. That favor ain't fair, but it was all a bunch of fuckery to get the favor. It wasn't legit. And they ain't finna tell you favor ain't fair. They ain't finna tell you the asses they kissed to get this favor. They're not about to tell you the detestable documents that they have signed that would make you go, ugh, to get what they got. They ain't gonna tell you all of the backstory. The person who took the test for them, because they couldn't pass it themselves, they're not gonna tell you that part. When they're talking about favor ain't fair. Hey, somebody said, hey, Gwen, how you doing? What it do? Welcome. Somebody sent a rose. Thank you for the rose. I'm doing what I always do, y'all. Every so often, y'all get me to come in here, do some provoking thought discussions to put it out there to get folks to finally start coming out of some kind of stupors. These automations that we live in until we decide to not live in automation. When we stop just saying regurgitating, just on automatic regurgitate. We've been shaped into that. Don't even be knowing what we talk, man. We don't even be knowing what we saying half the time. It just sound cute and spiritual, and you get you 100 likes. It's saying something, bitch. Favor ain't fair. You know what I'm saying? Whoa. These be killers, man. See, this is why I know. Oh, I know they don't like me, but I like that they don't. This be killers. About favor ain't fair. They be thugs. Talking about favor ain't fair. Violent folk. Just because y'all better wake up. Shooting up. If they ain't doing it, they selling it. And because they've managed to get something with their criminal activity, now they want to say, favor ain't fair, because they got a group to agree with lying and stealing and hiding things, and then, fake flexing and flaunting around favoring, look what God. Yeah, I think that's kind of not the legit shit. The human mind will reason anything to make something all right when we're in our lower form. Until we're on the bottom of the wheel, then we're going to change the game. All of a sudden, we're going to say something totally different. Now we want justice. Now it's not fair. I did a video. I shared a gentleman's video that was here short, and I shared it onto my YouTube today. And he was talking, I think he's a psychiatrist, but he was talking about karma. And the reason why it can, he wasn't getting into how people get confused about it, but he was just making a statement that no matter what, it will eventually snap back when we bend things. And so a lot of people live their lives like children. The longer children get away with doing a lot of things before receiving any type of consequence for their conduct or behavior, or any kind of scolding or teaching or repercussion, they build up a momentum inside of themselves. They're getting shapened into believing that I can do this. I can do this behavior. Yes, I can. I can do this behavior and no one's going to stop me. And I can do this behavior and I will not suffer a consequence until they suffer a consequence. And it throws people off, like the gentleman was saying, because it'll be 2 years down the road. I think that was his comment, where it's like life went on. So no one suspected that they were going to get a repercussion from something that was done 2 years ago. They never got into any repercussion before. At least they thought. So it seemed. So then he said that it'll come, the snapback will come and it'll seem hard. and it'll seem like it's everything in one. And that's because the momentum has built, especially if the individuals have been doing offense. So it's not going to be just the one thing they did in 2020 that they end up receiving in 2022, 2023, 2024. It's going to be all that they did in 2020. Quiet. It's quiet, bitch. Tumbleweeds, crickets. Feel butt cheeks clenching. It's like, damn, bitch. Yeah. This is why it pays to mind how you live. People will be thinking we're saying stuff just to say it. People be thinking we're saying it just to try to control people or make people scared, or people be thinking it's kind of in the low vibration, but it's about the laws of the universe. Because see, these same individuals be the ones that will be crying when they do experience the bottom of the wheel. But they didn't want to hear nobody though. They thought they were untouchable. Because they've been doing this for 60 years. Because they've been a part of the elites. Elites aren't untouchable. They know it. They know there's ranks. They know they all eventually get on that receiving end. Cute sayings ain't cute. They're only cute until ... Until stuff come a knocking at our doors. Now we're saying things like we want things to be fair. But should it not have been fair for all these other individuals when we were high on a hog? When we were walking around squawking like peacocks? Was it not to be fair? See, when y'all hear me talk about justice and fairness as my natural way, it's for all. I have talked this way and spoken this way and believed this way and operated in this way in various different seasons of my life. Younger years, harder years, on top of the wheel, below the wheel, because it's legit. Justice is justice. It's not to be bent in my favor. It's not to be bent in someone else's favor. It's to be what it's called, the scales. It's to be just. For all. Favor ain't fair. For those that like to operate like that, then they also need to be able to swallow when they're on the bottom of the wheel. And accept that with just as much vigor as they do when they're on top of the wheel walking around like a peacock. Because if favor ain't fair, then it also must mean that when it's not going your way, when you're in some kind of loss and suffrage, then that must be meant as well. based on that premise. So should one celebrate that and sit and accept it and be quiet? The human nature, our biases, if we don't challenge that, our nose blindness, metaphorically speaking, I've taught on this for a few years now, almost 5 or 6. Unless we willfully and intentionally bring attention to that within ourselves, to realize that everybody's got blind spots, including you. And becoming more introspective and mindful to know that it's always easier to look outside of ourselves at something and everyone else and be able to sit and have a clipboard and a critiquer. That's easy. But can we do it authentically to our own selves? Not so much, not that easy. Because it takes willingness, and it takes getting still enough and honest enough, especially when we need to see ourselves in a certain light rather than the light of truth. It's always a pungent smell walking into someone else's house that you haven't been in, coming from the outside. It's going to always be a more pungent smell for that person if they have garbage in there or if they got some beautiful fragrant candles. But either way it goes, it's going to always be more pungent to that person coming from the outside. The one that's in there have grown accustomed to the environment. They've grown accustomed to those fragrant candles or scents. They've grown accustomed if they have garbage in there that they haven't put out and has been sitting for a while. After a while, their nose and all that stuff is going to start to adjust at some point. And it's going to become more and more faint, more and more less obvious. But to the people that ain't been in there and they coming from the outside, it's going to hit them in the face. It doesn't mean they're better, because I bet you they got their own version of that at their house. You see where I'm going? Favor ain't fair. Cute sayings. You know, they ain't cute. Don't be cute when the shit just ain't going the way it used to. See, when people actually do operate from a place of true love, frequency, and an energy of justice, a lot of people talking about how fair they are, but if you see behind their lives, it's nothing but that. Talking the talk of justice and fairness and trying to act a certain way in front of people and giving to a charity or whatever shit we do, bitch, to try to make it seem like we decent folks. But people that operate out of true justice and fairness operates this way. It's like even keel. It's even keel. It's not, it has nothing to do whether something's going to be bent in their favor or not. It has nothing to do if they're going to get some correlating benefit or not. It has nothing to do because that's partiality. That's not justice. Justice-driven people are driven by philanthropy and a humanitarian heart, fairness for all. Not just just let's bend this in the favor of me, my four, that we get woo-de-woo, woo-de-woo-de-woo. And we hide this and we keep this for ourselves, bitch. And then we want to go to church on Sunday and have a Sunday night dinner and preach. And then we want people to look at us like we this decent, loving community and family. I don't think so. And then when the shit hits the fan, and it always does, then you got some people that want to go into, they, those that do the tantrums when shit is no longer in their favor. Now they want to go about stomping about as a tyrant, doing more dumb shit that's going to cost them more shit that they didn't already pay for. Because they mad. You see the immaturity there? They mad. What does that sound like to you all, collective? Don't that remind you of when, if you have had children, your children, raising them? Ain't that what it sounds like? When your kids is mad because they couldn't get their way, and you held a standard, you know what I'm saying? You're like, no, little John, no, Susie, no, you know what I'm saying? No, this is it. I've talked to you about this for 3 months now. I've given you several opportunities. I've lived by example. I show you this. I've taught you this. I've explained this and that. So now we're going to the next level. This is going to be the ramification, and for a whole month or a whole whatever. And depending on the temperament of that child, here they go. They stomping. They got a sad face, attitude, moping. Okay, slamming doors, being pitiful. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna eat. They got their music on, like all these different manifestations. I hate you. Some of them that's more temperamental, they'll be like, well, I hate you. Yeah, right. Woo. Why? Because there's a standard, and now it's not gonna go in their way anymore. That's how some of these people are behaving. You got some that's playing pitiful, cry me a river, break out the violin. Then you got some that's acting like the young adults that each of us may have raised. Black hoodie, you know what I'm saying? Being a vigilante. I'm gonna go blow up, you know what I'm saying? More shit. Because you put up a standard and said that I couldn't have my iPhone 1000 for a month. I'm gonna go vandalize properties, bitch. I'm gonna be mischievous. And I'm going to put a nail behind your tire so you'll have difficulties in the morning going to work. You'll have to call AAA. And I don't know who did it and won't say nothing. And I'll get my jollies off of that because I'm a mischievous, devious demon child. I'll teach you. I'll teach you to have a standard. I'll teach you for taking away my iPhone 1000. Meanwhile, they're racking it up. So they're already suffering. Now they're going to suffer something else. You see how this is going? That wild now, calling themselves being mad, it's going to cost them. It's going to cost them more than not having that iPhone 1000 for a month, because now the penalties are raising depending on what it is they do when they wild out. And there are many individuals out there that are volatile that way. Instead of taking the opportunity when they're on the bottom of that wheel to go into introspection, to become a man, to become a woman, a legit one. To look in the mirror and sit down and go, okay, you know what? I ain't gonna act like I like this. But I need to evaluate myself. I need to evaluate my life. I need to evaluate the things I've done and the things that I haven't done. Because now I have the opportunity to sit in the seat that I've caused many to sit in, maybe unjustifiably. So here's my shot before I die. That marks when someone decides to heal and become a man and a woman, or to continue to be a child. I say this to people all the time. All this stuff that we claim to be is no badge of honor. We can claim what we want to claim. We can attain what we want to attain, but none of this stuff is a badge of honor. Your ability to grow and heal and transform, to mature, to being a decent being in front of the scene and behind the scene, that determines whether or not you are deserving of a badge of honor. Not performing it. You know how many people can come on here and do this and talk like this, but it don't mean that they're applying it? It's what we do when we click off over and over again. That's determining if we are deserving of any kind of badge of honor. It's our secret lives. It's our off the scene, off the camera. It's what we do in the dark. It's what we do when no one's watching. It's what we do when we think no one will ever know and find out, determines if it's a badge of honor or dishonor. This is why I say we can all say whatever we wish and claim to be whatever we wish. We can all create what we wish to create, and we can get a bazillion subscribers and followers and viewers, and that still don't mean shit. We can create a thriving business, but that still don't mean we're honorable people. It's who we are and who we're becoming every single day. What do we do when the rubber meets the road? What kind of decisions we're making when it's tough and difficult, when it's inconvenient? What are we doing to other lives that we think are less important than us? See, that determines whether you deserve a badge of honor or not. Favor ain't fair. Cute sayings. They ain't cute when you're on the bottom of that wheel. When what you thought was going to go down didn't. Or all of a sudden you lose your stability. What you have counted on and banked on and have had for however long, and then all of a sudden, poof, gone. That job, that 401k, that home, all these things, that A1 credit that now all of a sudden kind of seem like it don't even matter anymore. Why? Why is that? Yeah. If money could buy a peace of mind and heart, but it can't, huh? I know of individuals, as I'm talking, sitting in big, beautiful homes. Got 4 cars in the garage, bitch. But they don't have peace. When they're alone. When they're not performing for their family or the camera, they feel disturbed. Why? Why is that? Because money can't buy that. That's the one thing that's out of range. You can't purchase it for you. The Ambien, all that shit, it just don't seem to cut it, and it has negative side effects, right? So I hear. After all the shopping, eating, gaming, partying, they still can't quite find it. Because it's a choice, lifestyle choice. Who are we and who have we become and what have we done to get what we've gotten? Did we lose ourselves? Did we become too attached to this 3D? What happened? These are the type of people that they have a hard time dealing with being at the bottom of the wheel. But you would think they're so strong, right? Well, I don't know about that. It's easy to feel strong when you got all of your props. It's easy to feel strong when you can just go slide a credit card. And it's easy to feel strong when you have an entourage of flying monkeys. It's easy to feel strong. But when they take that from you, then come and talk to me. Let's see where your strength is. When your name's not in lights. When they don't favor you no more. They ain't cheering for you. They ain't buying your record. They ain't chasing you. They ain't paparazzi. They ain't a groupie for you no more. Now, let's see your strength. When you can't just go buy your way out of something. Let's see where that strength kicks in. when spell casting no longer works. In fact, it's starting to go into the reverse adverse effect. Now let's see where your strength is. Because it's easy to feel strong when we're able to do abracadabra, hocus pocus, some things we didn't know the most is about, because now we're receiving bad karma in the evening. I hope y'all enjoy these fun, provoking topics I like to throw out there for the deep thinkers, or to get folks to start thinking. Cute sayings. We hear it, especially social media. That's the mecca of cute sayings, right? I use cute sayings. But I'm talking about the distortion of what people do and use to try to claim some type of privilege without character. And the very same people who do that, when they're not receiving the privilege, or when they're on the bottom, now they're cry me a river. Which one is it? All right. I will be uploading the last two discussions. I want to say is this one, and it's another one I think I forgot. For those of you who like to go back and listen to them on my YouTube channel. And again, I'm going to always keep adding disclaimers, because I always get extremers, okay, from one end to the other. And the best thing that I can say is, first and foremost, if it ain't your story, if it ain't jiving with you, then it's not. And guess what? No harm, no foul. But at the end of the day, take everything with a grain of salt and balance. No matter who you're listening to, man, we got to become people that's able to do our own due diligence and learn how to read energy. In 2023, it's time to truly grow up and to really be free. But that means we have to be willing to challenge what I call the sacred cows. The things that we have been shaped into and conditioned into and came here pre-programmed with. And because of that, we get terrified. They're that cognitive dissonance. This is why you guys hear me go, wake up, wake up. I'm trying to get people to snap out of being phased and hazed and comatose. Wake up. You're not even connecting. You're just regurgitating. Wake up. You think it's absolute because that's what the program tells you. Just like a computer. The computer is going to run off of whatever operating system and softwares in which is put in there. And anything else is going to spit out something that tells you, I don't compute, I don't compute, I don't compute. System doesn't recognize, system doesn't recognize. That's because we must deal with the subconscious. We must expand. We must be willing to challenge everything you think you know. Without fear. And being willing to let it all go in the name of finding truth. In the name of ascension, expansion, change, and transformation. This thing is more than just about a cute saying.